What's up, I'm Troubleshoot. It's Friday the 28th of March. The Rust skins are a day late, but let's go through them, have a look at their price, see them in game, and speculate about price at the very end of this video. You'll find timestamps down below. Starting off with these items and their original store price on the Steam store, here are the 12 new items we have this week. Why they were delayed a day, I'm not too sure, but we finally have them here. Pricey they definitely are, with this week being a bit more expensive than usual. Let's quickly run through them. We've got a B metal door for $3, Cryo Fridge for $2.50, factory new semi-automatic pistol for $3, pretty expensive, fish bandana for $1, Gunhouse double door, which is a sheet metal door for $3, an Ice Eye sleeping bag, continuing with the Ice Eye theme for just $2.50, and an Oil Rig Lootroom Box for $2.50 as well. Then a Sakura AR, securing the most expensive item this week. This pink AK costs $3.50, followed closely by 3 brand new road sign items following along with the dark tire theme that we had last week, that we had with the tire hide pants and shirt. These go for the helmet at $2, road sign kilt for $2.50, and road sign vest for $2.50 as well, followed by a highly detailed and intricate Whittled Bloom Large Box for $2. Let's have a look at all of these in game and then speculate about the price. So, starting off from the very top, let's have a look at the armor. These 3 brand new items will put you back a solid $2 plus $2.50 and $2.50 once more, so $7 for this entire set. While not completely blackout, it's pretty dark. However, the only thing exposing you are these pretty bright and obvious red and cyan lines. Overall, we've got a couple of arrows, a couple of numbers. We've got 12, 50, this little squiggly line on the mandible of your helmet, I guess representing your mouth, all the way around to the back that follows along pretty well with the art theme, pretty consistent. We've got cobalt, 50, and things like that written across it. This isn't exactly a blackout armor set, but it is relatively dark and would fit really well with other cheaper, darker, blackout-esque skins. Obviously, road sign isn't the highest tier, so not being the highest tier blackout armor also seems to make sense. It's relatively cool looking, although a bit niche if you like the look of this, where it's sort of cobbled together from tires and not much else. Well, hey, this may tickle your fancy. Ultimately mine, I think my wallet will be mostly safe this week, bar just a few items. One of them will probably be this, the fish bandana. This beautiful piece of marine life sells for just $1 and comes complete with 2 shiny eyeballs, this hook that pierces your nose and heads all the way across with this piece of rope all the way to the back over here where it keeps everything together. This scaly friend that you can wrap around you is relatively shiny in sunlight and things like that, although it doesn't glow as you'd hope a fish wouldn't, otherwise it would probably be radioactive. It's pretty cool looking and very slimy, obviously to the touch. This fits really well with the rest of the fish items, which we'll go through in just a moment, as there's actually a surprising number of them. Then, taking a step back from clothing, we've got 2 weapons this week. First of all, the factory new SAP or semi-automatic pistol for $3. Looks like this, although on the store it looked a bit more blackout than super shiny and factory new. You can see that's not the case here. Maybe at much lower graphic settings, this thing would be a lot darker, but at least for now, it seems to be just a factory new skin that's shiny enough to have just come out of a store, polished and shined. The only thing that's blackout here, truly, is the grip at the very bottom, made of this hard plastic. That's definitely just blacked out. This thing isn't anything crazy, and if we have a look in first person, you can see just what it looks like. It's ultimately just a really shiny, brand new, factory new, well-polished, well-loved semi-automatic pistol. If this tickles your fancy, then you can add this to your collection of factory new weapons. The only thing I'd recommend thinking about is this at the very back. As you can see, there's this weird shine, turning off depth of field. It still subsists. I don't know if this is aliasing or something like that, but these little horizontal lines across the back seem to catch the sunlight in a very annoying way, at least at certain times. The iron sights aren't anything fancy, they're just silver and shiny, nothing too crazy about it. Ultimately, it's an okay looking skin if you like factory new type things. Giving it a quick reload, you can see the magazine is nothing too crazy, it's just more of the same. However, something very different would definitely be this, the Sakura AR. This is the most expensive skin this week, clocking in at $3.50. This beautiful pink full-sized AK, as we've got the stock at the back, is definitely one of the prettier items that we have in Rust. Obviously, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb no matter where you are, except for maybe the snow, but if you're carrying this around, you're likely a princess who doesn't care very much. Having a look in first person, this thing matches very well on the front and the back side, probably just a clone of what's happening, but this lady with flowers all over the place, some shiny purple flowers, whatever they'd be called, appear on the magazine at the very bottom, on this wrap, on the back side, front side. Also, they appear at the very front on the iron side, on the sides over here, though you would never really see that, at least throughout general gameplay, unless you inspect it. And finally, we've got another shiny flower all the way on the very back over here. The iron side is nothing crazy, it's just more of that same shiny purple, although a bit more weathered, nothing too crazy, nothing too pay to win. You might find yourself losing it as it's a lighter color in some areas, but overall, if you're used to playing with an AK, this thing's just fine, no crazy pay-to-win advantage. Is this worth a solid $3.50? Well, let me know down below. This is something I'll be picking up this week just to add to my collection of kawaii type skins. But yeah, there you go. And with that, we've covered all of the wearables and holdable items this week. Let's flick across to items that we can place, and there's quite a few glow-in-the-dark ones. So, first of all, the Whittled Bloom Large Box for a solid $2 is super detailed and highly intricate. I can see this fitting really well in any frontier type base or wooden base, where the amount of detail and love put into this thing throughout handcrafting at probably the bandit camp looks really good and really well cared for. This especially fits well in any kind of farm base as well, as we've got a bee and flowers on the side, a flower on the top, and flowers everywhere for the most part, as this came across with the bee and honey update. So obviously it fits really well with that. There's a couple of seed pods and pine cone looking things all over this, on the front, the back, the sides. This thing is super well detailed, and having a closer look at the top over here, you can see it's more of the same for the most part, with a massive sunflower or whatever this is supposed to be on it. It's really cool looking, super highly detailed, and definitely took some time to create, if of course someone actually put this together. And with that, we've only got 5 more items to cover this week, and all of them glow. So first of all, I'll show you what they look like placed down, then I'll flick over to nighttime. So first of all, we have the Gunhouse metal double door, which as you can see features pretty much every weapon in Rust. The only thing that's a bit weird is that this F1 grenade over here is kicked and smashed out, so not too sure why that is, but the rest of these look super cool. All of them sporting this highlighted neon glow, a couple of wires sticking out, more wires over here where the keypad goes, as well as this mysterious, mischievous face that's been painted on over here by this little red light. Flicking over to the backside, it's more of the same, but the skin looks even better at nighttime. So midnight, here you can see what this thing looks like. This is absolutely fantastic. I can see this working really well for a gun room or something like that, where you've got gun racks on the wall, all highlighted. This would fit in so well. With every single weapon in the game, at least for the most part, from what I can tell, it's super detailed and really well put together. I really do like the look of this. Then keeping in the theme of doors, we've also got this over here, the bee metal door for just $3, where this other door was also $3. Looks a bit something like this. Only specific kinds of bases would actually find this good looking. For me at least, I won't really find a place to put it unless it's a farm base where you want people to see inside through these 2 massive eye hole grills, where they'll see there's not too much of value and they'll leave it and not raid it. Perfect for a farm base, and especially for a bee themed farm base, collecting honey, things like that. This metal door has a couple of these metal bolts spread around it, these metal slats at the bottom making up the stripes of the bee, and while it doesn't look too crazy in the daytime, if we flick over to nighttime, it looks way better. The eye holes glow super well. This light at the top over here illuminates quite a bit of the door, but that's that. If you're running farm bases, this may be on your list, but for me at least, it's something that I'll be skipping this week. Speaking of something that I don't completely understand, this over here is the Ice Eye sleeping bag. While it's not my style, it does look really cool in 3D with these ice crystals and things like that moving across it. They shimmer and reflect light slightly differently, giving it a 3D type look, and of course the shadows in between them make them pop out even further. This bag is super 3D looking, which is pretty cool, but it is a very bright and noticeable blue. The eye appears at the top over here. If you didn't see it, you've seen it now, as the pillow. While it looks just okay, although super stick outy and sore thummy during the day, just have a look at nighttime. No matter where you put this thing, it will be found. You can see that the eye glows super bright and the rest of it as well, only starting to fade out by the feet. So this thing you're going to see from pretty much anywhere, no matter where you put it, people will find it and people will shop it. For that reason, I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're going to be putting this inside your base in certain places. That would look really cool. Then sticking to the ice cold theme, we've also got this, a cryo fridge, which obviously is made to imitate a cryopod where you'd freeze yourself as number 52 and get out at some stage in the future, hopefully not in a Fallout type universe. You can see this thing is super well detailed from the front, back, sides, as well as the inside. This thing looks really cool and most of these parts make sense, I guess, if you think about it long enough. Having a look at the inside over here, you can see this floor grill at the bottom. All the way up to the top, we've got these cold lab-like lights. This thing looks really cool, and of course, before it's used to freeze you into the distant future, you can put your food inside of here to keep it fresh as well. On top, we've got more of the same, a couple of red lights, green lights, and things like that. This, of course, looks way better at nighttime. So changing to nighttime, now you can see exactly how this thing looks. The inside glows and illuminates really well. You can see everything inside of it, and of course, only some of the elements on the outside, the side and the back, glow, but the ones that do look pretty machinery, futuristic-y, sci-fi. Yeah, it's a pretty cool looking fridge skin, but obviously not for everyone. Something that I would think is for pretty much everyone is the last item this week, this over here, this small box, titled the Oil Rig Lootroom Box for $2.50, is super well detailed. It's actually crazy. On the front side over here, you've got a green door with a green keypad light and this shiny window over here that reflects light and moves around just a little bit with a large crate inside ready for looting. Around the side, we've got just these, and the back, it gets even more detailed. We've got a scratched up notice sign followed by this red door over here that can just be opened with a button, so not too much security unless this is supposed to be the inside of a building. The green card on the front doesn't really do all that much. Powering the green card, of course, over here is this fuse box and switch. Everything here makes sense for the most part, and of course it's the perfect thing to place to keep your scrap in and things like that as well. That's where you'll be getting your scrap. Pretty cool. I really like how detailed the skin is, and just wait for the flick, nighttime looks even crazier. Over here, you can see the light at the top illuminates the door. The inside is completely lit up. Over here, the keypad as well. Around the back, this door similarly illuminated as well. And on the side, the fuse box, of course, waiting for a fuse, probably sparking quietly. Pretty cool looking, really well put together. I love how this thing glows at nighttime, super detailed. Let me know what you think of this down below. And that's that. We've covered all 12 items this week. Before we go, let's quickly have a look at the other skins in the set on SCMM, and of course speculate about price to think where things will go. So let's flick across to that. Just keep in mind, before we look at any of the prices and things like that, this is purely speculation. This isn't financial advice. You're pretty much just gambling if you're hoping to buy something and sell it for a higher price in the future. These are just Rust skins. Only purchase them if you want to play with them. So with that, let's have a look at the prices, historic prices, and make a couple of guesses on the future. Having a look at SCMM over here for this week, March 28th, 2025, we've got all of the items here. You can see which ones are glowing, but let's start off at the very top, the Sakura AR, which goes for $3.50, doesn't actually have anything else in a set, so this is a single item that just stands by itself. The only thing you can compare it to are the other assault rifles, for which there are tens of thousands. The most recent assault rifles have lost pretty much all of their value, dropping by half, if not even more. Very rarely do AK skins actually go up in price, such as this Black Diamond one over here, by only 8%, Thunder Gold AR for 27. Everything else has lost a ton of price. Super sad to see, but AKs definitely aren't it for investment, at least based off of everything else. The B metal door once again stands by itself. Currently 1,500 of these things have sold for just $3. Sheet metal doors, of course, as well similarly reflect how AKs work, where most of them, if not all of them, lose a lot of their value, except for some of them that go up in a lot of price for some reason. This is kind of crazy. Why is that? 91 sold. I guess this was removed relatively early, sold for $2.50. That's kind of crazy. That is a crazy looking door. So I guess it was pulled from the market. That's actually insane. Anyways, obviously only a few of these doors actually go up in value. Everything else loses value. So for that reason, this door I don't see going very far in its future. Then the Gunhouse double door over here looks really cool, stands in itself. There's nothing like it. There's 50 total double door skins, for which much this adds to it. Most of them glow like this one here, and most of them seem to be around the same value, if not gaining a bit more, so take from that as you will. Then the fish bandana adds to the ever-growing fish set, which is actually surprisingly big. All of these things have gained at least a pinch of value, so going off of that, this is probably going to gain some value as well. The Cryo Fridge as well stands by itself, nothing too much like it. With 1,300 sold, there's only 15 total fridge skins, most of which seem to have gained a little bit of their value, especially these much older ones, though we do have way more Twitch drop fridge skins than just normal skins, which is a little bit weird. The most recent skins seem to have lost a bunch of their value. Then the factory new semi-automatic pistol adds to the AK, which we got in the last few weeks. That lost value, so take from that as you will. There are 74 total semi-automatic pistol skins, and most of them have gained value, as you can see here, especially with these much older ones gaining way more. So take from that as you will. Then the Oil Rig Lootroom Box sold $12.50. There's 80 total small boxes, most of which have lost value. So while this may be super detailed and cool looking, maybe it'll stand out from the rest, but nobody really knows. Speaking of super detailed, the Whittled Bloom Large Box, of course, for $2 has sold 1,200 and adds to the ever-growing list of 232 large boxes. Most of them have lost value, bar just a few of them. The Neon Honey Box, also B-themed, gained a bit of value. The rest of them, well, not so much. Then the tire set, including the kilt, chestplate, and helmet, brand new, added to our small list over here. Last week's hide pants and tire shirt have gained quite a bit of value, which is a little surprising. Maybe people will like this set over here. The kilt goes for $2.50, helmet for $2, and vest for $2.50. So while not super cheap, 1,000 or so of these items have sold already. Most of them being bought in sets. You can see $9.59, $9.59, $9.79. So people are getting all three of these when they're getting any of them. Finally, the Ice sleeping bag over here. For $2.50, 900 sold, obviously a bit more niche, adding to this growing list of Ice skins, and all of them have of course lost quite a bit of value from 40 to 50%. So yeah. Anyways, that's really that. We've covered all of these skins, we've seen them in game, and even speculated about their pricing. So hopefully you found this video useful. Thank you all for watching. My name's been Troubleshoot, and I'll see you all next week. Ciao.